Today we're designing a cozy little shop and pushing our skills to try to draw a scene. I'm not great at that, so let's see how it goes. So yeah, in some ways this is going to be a different video than usual. I don't have a lot of preface or things to talk about except to talk about the process I'm trying to go in here. You can see me trying to get some ideas of the shape of my cozy little shop, and I actually really struggled with this part. Getting the perspective right is a big challenge, and I know, the tools and tricks of the trade in order to try to get perspective going well. And I sort of mess around with a few options here for a little bit before landing on something that I can be happy with. We decided we wanted to make a cozy little tea shop of some kind with a bit of an outside stall area and an inside window area. And you can see me here trying to get the vibes of that. Basically, we've got the big display window and these 3 stands out front, and that sort of works for the core idea. Once we have the core shape down, it is time to get in there a little bit and try to add some detail. So we started with a bubbling cauldron, going down a list of ideas that we had from chat. So we wanted this little cash register at the back wall, then there'd be a side wall that we could see and a back wall we could see, as well as maybe some more stands inside the shop. And at this point, really what we're trying to do is get a sense of our composition, even though I'm not great at that, and a sense of the things that make this detailed picture interesting and unique. And so I sort of thought, maybe this fancy head would go on the wall up there, and I didn't end up liking that, so it eventually goes away. And we're just testing out stuff, so putting in more options, a little tea set on the back table there, and some stands maybe in the middle. Trying to get the perspective right so that our shop would at least functionally look okay from the outside. It ends up a little wonky, I'm not gonna lie, but you know what? This is a learning process for me. This is me showing you my own experiment in doing backgrounds and scenery. And so it's not gonna be perfect, and nor do I expect it to be perfect. And I feel like that's a really important thing if you're an artist trying to figure out how to draw backgrounds or some specific thing and you're feeling frustrated. It's not important to get it right every time. In fact, it's probably better to get it wrong most of the time, because you have an opportunity to learn through what's wrong as much as you do learn through what's right? By trying and putting it out there, you have a chance to reflect on what you did, what worked and what didn't work, what came together and what didn't. And with this project, I have feelings about it. I told my chat that after I was done. I was like, hey guys, over in the Discord, I was like, here's my picture, but I want to be honest, there's things about it I don't love. And that doesn't mean it's bad, it just means that I have complicated feelings about my own work. You can see here we decided to add some mandrakes who are just messing around in the background, as well as some fairy potions. There's a used potions section in the front, as well as a unlabeled can section, because I thought that'd be fun. We're now adding a bunch of various accoutrements to these stands. We are going to have an interesting teapot thing, as well as some, random tongues. I think that's a pile of tongues I was just drawing there. Then we're going to have seeds over on the far right, as well as some mushrooms, and just really just fleshing out the world. And I think that's part of what makes this kind of project both challenging and interesting. Unlike character design, something that I've done a lot of, this is like scene design, which is also in its own right a character, right? Like, it is about making a place feel real, lived in. It tells a story about the place without anything more than just the objects in it. So we have these used items, an eclectic mix of alchemical stuff in this tea shop. It says something about who might run the shop, or who might visit the shop, or what world this shop might be in. And you can see here we're just trying to rough in a number of ideas of what might fit. You can see that we're putting a lot of our emphasis in the middle sections on these stands and in the shop window, because it matters to us what these things sort of look like and how they layer on top of each other. And in the end, even though I felt a lot of challenging feelings about the end result of this project, it doesn't mean that it was bad, right? I actually love a lot of the ideas that we put in here. So here we just have cabbage or lettuce being added to the shelf. And then I thought maybe just crystals, because, you know, crystals and magic and alchemy and all those things sort of goes together. And we didn't have to go too detailed. One of the things to remember about a sketch is that it's always messy. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to evoke an idea so that when you come back to do more detail or to do your inking, you can build on top of it. Little shopkeeper there sitting at the counter, and then we just needed to fill in the space around it. So once we had our sketch, it was time to get in here with our line art and really give ourselves a vibe. So we're just trying to pick up where our original lines were and start messing around. Now this picture, unlike many of the pictures I've done, I worked successively in layers. So I had a foreground layer where these 3 stands sort of lived. I had a mid-ground layer where the shop front and the objects on that layer would exist. And then I had a background layer, which is where all the things inside the shop would exist. This allows me to do a lot of work with lighting and shading and things like that. That doesn't sort of ruin things or need super detail in the end. So if the foreground needs to be lighter, I can lighten it without having to lighten everything or select everything. And so now is the hard work of just getting those details in. We're just following the lines that we drew, coming up with ideas that fit into the space that we created for it, and really just trying to fill in the detail in a way that looks right and feels good. I don't know if I succeeded in that in a lot of ways. There are compositional things that I don't think are right here. There are details that are maybe too detailed in some places and not detailed enough in others. And it's a complicated thing. Have full appreciation for people who do an excellent job at making backgrounds all the time. They work hard and they employ a lot of skills to make it work. And I'm, doing my best here. But like I said, it's a learning process. And so I know that my best is just stage 1 of where I could be in time. This is a really helpful thing to think about when it comes to art projects like this, that a lot of the times we might feel that we are not capable of doing the drawing we want to do, or critical of ourselves when it comes to the end result of an image. And the truth is that critical feeling is rooted in some truth, right? That there are things that we are not skilled in yet. But it's that yet that really is important, I think. That idea that it's not going to be everything I want it to be today, because I have yet to develop the skills necessary to do that. I'm a reasonably decent artist. I know how to draw pictures, but I don't know how to draw backgrounds in a way that is as compelling as I'd like them to be. I need to learn and think and grow and practice. And the only way to really do that is by taking courses, which maybe I can't afford, maybe you can't afford, or by trying and seeing what worked and what didn't, and being okay with the fact that that parts of it aren't going to work. You can see here our foreground layer is more or less complete when it comes to the inkings. I took everything away for a second there just to get a clearer sense of what was on the foreground before we started working on our mid-level. Things get a little bit movie here. I'm sorry if my style of recording and moving the canvas a lot is hard to look at. It's just sort of the way it is. I need to figure out better ways to record or draw for videos, but we do what we can and we keep pushing forward. So we're getting our lines on here, building up some of the details of things that were just sort of gray sketches in the background. Muddied, some dried herbs and things on the front here, and we're getting ready to move into our background layer, which is the pot that we were drawing, as well as all the things on the shelves and everything, just to get this down quite right. This actually might be part of the front layer still. I don't quite remember anymore, but that's okay. We don't have to remember everything. You can see it being done. We got some tea bags and some more dried herbs in the window here. I don't know what kind of herbs they are. Oh, and some dangly crystals and wind chimes, because that feels very relevant to this kind of shop that we've designed. Now we're filling up stands and we're just building out things. They don't have to be super specific at this point, because honestly, we don't really need the detail on all of those vegetables in that cart. And there's our little shopkeeper, just bored, waiting for people to come in. They got their various teapots in the back and teacups stacked. And various teas and pots and boxes and stuff on their shelves. Just filling in the gaps here, and really we're just trying to get all the detail in that we can. We don't want to overwhelm it, but we also don't want to have big empty spaces in a place that is very cluttered and full, or at least gives that impression in the window. And so yeah, we're just filling out some of these ideas and things. And once we have our line art finished, we'll go about coloring. Now I colored off stream, so I don't have a recording of it, but you can check out what this looks like once it is finished inking here. And then of course I will allow you to see the final reveal, where I did some different inking tactics than I normally do. I used some layering and some highlight tools to try to create more interesting shadows. I don't know if it worked. It did something. It's a skill I need to continue to develop. But this is going to be it for our picture today. Here is our final reveal of our shop. And there we go. That's a cozy shop for you to enjoy. We called it Oolong's Tea Shop because I thought that was a fun name. Like I said before, I was really glad to do this project, but I also appreciate that I felt a lot of complicated feelings about the end result. Things that were not perfect in the way that I maybe wanted them to be. Things that could have been better. And I do genuinely think that's okay. So if you're out there trying to grow as an artist, be uncomfortable with your work. That's perfectly fine. And I just want to say thank you so much for being here today. I'm a small creator, and I really appreciate the time that people spend watching the videos, commenting, sharing, liking, subscribing, all those things. I'm on that march to 1,000 this year. We're so close. We're like 840 or something, 830. And I'm just excited to continue growing as an artist, as a creator, and just having fun with art. And if you like that stuff, consider joining me here and watching some other videos. For now, that's going to be it. Thank you so much for being here. And of course, till next time, keep being awesome. Bye.